Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Club Learn to Lead. Good morning to all the students, and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 28th of December 2021. Today we will discuss most important and the very important question, so watch this video till last. But I am requesting you all the students that you have to download our application Careers Cloud from the description box link. After that, log in with the email ID, then click on this Crack Current Affairs section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low. But how we are covering this current affair? We are providing you daily section. In the daily, you will see three things. One is detail, second is question and answer format, and third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on daily basis. Next is the weekly section. Again, you will receive three things. One is detail, second is question and answer format, and third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on weekly basis. Most important section is the monthly, and we are providing 4 type of PDFs. One is detail, second is question and answer format, third is best 100 current affair, that is also provided in the form of question and answer, and fourth one is pocket PDF. It means 2-liners and the 3-liners current affair will be provided to you so that you can revise these current affairs in quick format before your exam. But to enhance your performance further, we are providing 20 most important topic wise PDF. It means if you want to cover one particular topic, then you can use this topic wise PDF. If you are a banking student, we are providing 3 things. One is detail, second is question and answer format, and third is the quiz section. But all these 3 things are only related to banking and economy, and you can attempt this quiz only on our application on monthly basis. If you want to cover all the past current affair of 2021 just from single PDF, then you can use this exam PDF. We are providing detailed budget and economic survey. Expected question and answer will be provided to you so that you can recall that examiner can make these type of questions from budget and economic survey. If you are appearing for your respective state exam, then we are also providing you state current affair, and we are covering every state and union territory. So all these things comes under only one subscription. You have to just download our application Careers Cloud from the description box link. After that, log in with the email ID, then click on this Crack Current Affair section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low. But if you are a new student, you are just starting your preparation, then I am advising you to subscribe for 2 years. And we are providing 10% extra discount on both subscriptions if you use this code ASH10. And if you have any query, you can email us or you can call us on this number or email ID. So let's start 28th of December 2021 current affair. But first of all, you have to like this video, you have to share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform, and join our Telegram group from the description box link. Here is the first question. Which state has topped the composite ranking in the Good Governance Index of 2020-21? Or this index is also known as GCI 2021. It means Good Governance Index 2021. And the state which has topped composite ranking, it is D option. It means I am talking about Gujarat. So answer of this question is D. So on the occasion of Good Governance Day, Union Minister of Home Affairs and Minister of Corporation Amit Shahji released the Good Governance Index 2020-21, which was a biannual exercise prepared by the Department of Administration or Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, or which is known as DARPG. So you can see here Good Governance Index 2021, and it is topped by state of Gujarat, Delhi, and Delhi is in the Union Territory category and Gujarat in the big states. So remember, back top slots in the Good Governance Index, and you can see here it is a biannual exercise and it is prepared by Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, and Gujarat has topped this composite ranking in the Good Governance Index, covering 10 sectors, 58 indicator index, followed by the Maharashtra. Second rank goes to Maharashtra and third rank goes to Goa. So the students belongs to Maharashtra and Goa. You have to remember the respective ranking of your state. But in the group B states, you can see Madhya Pradesh is in the top, second rank goes to Rajasthan, and third rank goes to Chhattisgarh. So again, you have to remember in the group A it is Gujarat, in group B it is Madhya Pradesh who topped under this index. So you can see here there are 2 more categories. One is Northeast and Hilly states. In the Northeast category, it is Himachal Pradesh who topped this index, and in the UTs we already covered that Delhi topped under this index. So remember, in the Northeast and the Hilly state category, Mizoram and even Jammu and Kashmir have registered an overall increase of 10.4% and 3.7%. It means Mizoram registered an overall increase of 10.4% or 10.5%, and this Jammu and Kashmir registered 3.7% growth in the GCI index of you can say 2021. and Delhi topped the list among the UTs, registering a 14% of increase if we are comparing with the 2019 indicators. And as many as 20 states have improved their composite good governance index scores in the 2021. But you have to remember about good governance index. This is very important thing because it is a framework which was introduced by Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, and it was started in the year of 2019, and it is to measure the quality of governance across the states and the union territories. And this good governance index 2019 specially encompassed 10 governance sectors and 50 governance indicators. But this year in 2020-21, the same 10 governance sectors are retained while indicators have revised to 58. Earlier we used the indicators 50, but now we are using the 58 indicators. And this good governance index is categorized under 4 categories. One is, you can say, northeastern and the hilly states. Second is union territory. Third is group A states and group B states. And maximum states basically covered under the group A. 10 states are covered under this. And in the group B, 8 states are covered. In the hilly states, you can say there are total 11 states because northeastern area is also there. So maximum states covered under this category. And in the UTs, you can say there are 7 UTs who are covered under this. So remember, this is good governance index, and this is released by Union Ministry of Home Affairs, Amit Shah ji. Amit Shah constituency is Gandhinagar. Gandhinagar is in Gujarat. Moving to next question. But remember, the second rank in the composite index goes to Maharashtra and third rank goes to Goa. Next, very important appointment, who became a new managing director and chief executive officer of RBL Bank. Again, very important question, and answer of this question is Rajiv Ahuja. D is the answer. So remember, Vishavir Ahuja, who was appointed as managing director and CEO of RBL Bank in the year of 2010, but the board of RBL Bank has accepted to proceed with the medical leave of Vishavir Ahuja. Remember, the former was Vishavir Ahuja, the managing director and chief executive of RBL Bank. And Vishavir Ahuja will step down from the post of MD and CEO and go on leave with immediate effect. And remember, he is on medical leave. But Rajiv Ahuja, executive director of RBL Bank, has been appointed as the temporary or the interim managing director and CEO of the RBL Bank with immediate effect, subject to regulatory and the other approvals. So remember, new managing director and CEO of RBL Bank is Rajiv Ahuja. Earlier it was Vishavir Ahuja, who was appointed as MD and CEO of RBL Bank in the year of 2010. It means he served as MD and CEO for almost 10 or 11 years. But you can also see here 2 other names like Rajneesh Kumar. Rajneesh Kumar recently appointed as the chairman of board of Bharat Pay. Chairman of board of Bharat Pay. Very important organization. Next is Sajjan Jindal. He was recently appointed as chairman of World Steel Association. World Steel Association. Other 2 appointments are again very, very important. You can also see here, this is Vishavir Ahuja, who recently stepped down as a position of MD and CEO, and new person is Rajiv Ahuja, who is serving as the executive director of RBL Bank, now become the temporary or the interim managing director and chief executive officer of RBL Bank. Moving to next question, who is honored with Global Environment and Climate Action Citizen Award? So this award comes under the Bharat Gaurav Awards, but you have to remember the name. This name is Viral Desai. So answer of this question is B. So Viral Sudhir Bhai Desai, this is the full name. He is a very famous industrialist from Gujarat, or you can say exact area is Surat, who is popularly known as Green Man, or you can say Green Man of Gujarat. Green Man of Gujarat has been honored with the Global Environment and Climate Action Citizen Award of 2021. You can also see here Viral Sudhir Bhai Desai. And this is the 8th edition of Bharat Gaurav Awards Lifetime Achievement Award. Among the 28 personalities, remember, from the 11 countries, which includes United Kingdom, United States, New Zealand, France, Malaysia, who were honored with this award, Viral Desai was the only Indian to win this honor for the climate change, especially for climate change. And you can also remember, the award is presented by Sanskriti Yuva Sanstha, is a non-governmental organization working with the vision of the rise of Indian culture and society through the various social programs. And remember about Bharat Gaurav Awards, and Lifetime Achievement Award recognizes the prestigious people across the globe who achieve a landmark in their working area and make India proud. And first Bharat Gaurav Award was basically held in 2012. But you have to just remember the question as same as in slide. Global Environment and Climate Action Citizen Award goes to Viral Desai. But you can also remember the other personalities here who won recently awards, very famous awards. One is James Sangma. He recently won Progressive Business Concept Award. Progressive Business Concept Award, and it is organized by PETA India 2021 for his vegan leather initiative. For his vegan leather initiative. Remember, it is Progressive Business Concept Award by PETA. Next is Dr. Basant Kumar Mishra. Recently won International Lifetime Achievement Award. Lifetime Achievement Award in Neurosurgery by the American Association of Neurological Surgeons. Next is Namita Gokhale. Namita Gokhale recently won 7th Yamin Hazarika. Yamin Hazarika Woman of Substance Award, and Namita Gokhale, very famous writer. She is very famous writer, and she recently won 7th Yamin Hazarika Woman of Substance Award. I repeat it again and again so that you can basically revise this news very carefully, because all the awardees are very, very important. Moving to next question. So, we are moving to the very important question section. First of all, you have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform, and join our Telegram group from the description box link. But before proceeding to the very important section, I just want to discuss about our PO mains course, which we started, and it is free of cost. I just want to take your 40 to 45 seconds so that you can understand that what we are providing under this course. As you all know that we have started 25 days free course to crack IBPS PO mains examination, and this course was started on 13th of December and it will end on 14th of January. It means almost for 1 month we have started this course. And remember, this course frequency is from Monday to Friday. We will not upload any quiz on Saturday and Sunday. And in the quiz, we will upload 70 questions daily. Out of 70, 20 questions will be related to reasoning, and 20 questions related to quant, or you can say mathematics, and 30 questions related to general awareness or current and banking awareness. You can see these are the quiz, and course could be attempted at any time. No daily limit is there, but course will be attempted only through application, that is Careers Cloud application. For more details, you can download this application from the description box. Now, moving to very important question section. Here is the first question in the very important section. Nobel Prize winner Desmond Tutu dies. He won Nobel Prize in which field? So the most important keyword under this question is Desmond Tutu. So remember, he was very famous Archbishop, and he was also named as Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and he won the Nobel Prize in the Peace category. So answer of this question is D. So Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who won the Nobel Peace Prize and also a veteran of the South African struggle against white minority rule, died at the age of 90 in the Cape Town. So remember, he belongs to South Africa. So you can see here the picture of Desmond Tutu, who won the Nobel Peace Prize and also was you can say given the title of Archbishop, and he recently passed away. And he won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1984 in recognition of his non-violent opposition in the South Africa's brutal, you can say, apartheid regime. So he led numerous marches and the campaigns to end the South Africa struggle. Especially in 2013, he declared his support for the gay rights in the South Africa, and he became, you can say, Bishop of Johannesburg, and was appointed the first black Archbishop of the Cape Town. So you can remember, he became Bishop of Johannesburg and was appointed the first black Archbishop of the Cape Town. So remember all the things about Desmond Tutu, but the most important thing that he won the Nobel Peace Prize in the year of 1984 in recognition of his non-violent opposition to the South Africa's brutal apartheid regime. So just remember these things. Moving to next question. Which country launched new camera satellite, which is known as Yuan 102E, to find resources? So you have to remember the keyword here is Yuan, and this is launched by China. So answer of this question is B. So China's National Space Administration, which is also known as CNSA, stated about China's launch of a new satellite with a high resolution camera that can take pictures of the ground with a resolution of 5 meters. So China launched new camera satellite. That's why it is known as camera satellite. It is known as Yuan 102E. And the satellite is with a high resolution camera that can take pictures on the ground with a resolution of 5 meters. That's why this satellite is named as Yuan 102E, or 5 meter optical satellite. 5 meter optical satellite 02. The pictures taken by this satellite will help engineers survey China's geological environment and search for the minerals. And pictures specially taken by the satellites will help engineers survey China geological environment and search for minerals, and it also helps in the other areas like transportation, agriculture and the disaster mitigation. So just remember all the things about this satellite, and this is launched by China. Moving to next question, Rajnath Singh laid the foundation stone for BrahMos manufacturing center at which place? Again, this is very important. In 2022, in this state there are elections. Basically, total 5 states are there. One is UP, Manipur is there, Goa is there, Punjab and also Uttarakhand. So, this foundation stone is laid by Rajnath Singh ji in UP. So, in UP only one option is there. This is Lucknow. So, answer of this question is D. So, Rajnath Singh ji laid the foundation stone of 2 things. One is DRDO Defense Technology and Test Center. Second is BrahMos Manufacturing Center. So, the 2 defense manufacturing houses will be established by the Defense Research and Development Organization, or you can say DRDO, in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. DRDO Defense Technology and Test Center will also be set up in Lucknow, and BrahMos Manufacturing Center will also be set up in the Lucknow. So, BrahMos Manufacturing Center will set up at BrahMos Aerospace in Lucknow. It will produce the new BrahMos NG or the next generation variant at a rate of 80 to 100 missiles per year. But you have to remember one thing very important, that BrahMos is a joint venture between India and Russia, because BrahMos means name of the 2 rivers. One is from India like Brahmaputra and second is Moskva river of Russia, and its flight range is around 300 km. Again, very important. And Defense Minister also laid the foundation stone of the Defense Technology and Test Center in the Lucknow, and the first of its kind of center will be spread over the 22 acres of area, and it aims to accelerate the growth of defense and aerospace manufacturing in the Uttar Pradesh Defense Industrial Corridor. And remember, we want to be self-reliant in the defense sector. That's why we inaugurated these type of things. So, this is Rajnath Singh ji. Rajnath Singh ji constituency is Lucknow. That's why he inaugurated these 2 centers in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. Moving to next question. HDFC Bank tied up with which payment bank to deliver banking services in semi-urban and the rural areas? It means HDFC Bank will use the payment bank network so that they can deliver their services in the semi-urban and the rural areas where this payment bank is set up. And answer of this question is India Post Payment Bank. So, again, answer of this question is D. HDFC Bank has signed a memorandum of understanding with India Post Payment Bank to offer banking services to over 4.7 crore customers. 4.7 crore customers of India Post Payment Bank in semi-urban and the rural areas. And you can also remember that HDFC Bank aims to boost its financial inclusion drive by leveraging India's Post Payment Bank's network of 650 branches and over 1,36,000 banking access points of the India Post Payment Bank. So, HDFC Bank will use these branches and these banking access points to provide their services to the semi-urban and the rural areas. And the agreement offers various citizen-centric services which are provided by HDFC with increased digital technologies. But you can remember here very important payment bank. This is India Post Payment Bank, and this was set up under the Department of Post, Ministry of Communication with 100% equity owned by the government. And this was launched in the year of 2017, and it was launched at 2 places. One is Ranchi in Jharkhand and second is Raipur in Chhattisgarh. So, it was launched on demo basis, or you can say on pilot basis. After that, it was launched on Pan India. And its MD and CEO is J. Venkataramu. J. Venkataramu. You can also remember this. And remember about HDFC Bank, very simple. It was incorporated in 1994. Its headquarters is in Mumbai. Its tagline is "We understand your world. We understand your world." And its MD and CEO is Shashidhar Jagdishan. Shashidhar Jagdishan. Moving to next question. Which bank signed banca insurance deal with HDFC Life Insurance? So, remember, whenever banca insurance pact was signed, it means bank want to sell their products to the life insurance customers, or life insurance company want to sell their insurance product to the bank customers. So, the mainly banca insurance pact means life insurance company or the insurance company want to sell their product to the bank customers, and this bank is South Indian Bank. Again, the answer of this question is D. So, HDFC Life Life signed a bancassurance agreement with South Indian Bank to enable customers of the South Indian Bank to avail HDFC life insurance products and services of the customers of the South Indian Bank. So HDFC Life sign insurance, bancassurance deal with the South Indian Bank, and HDFC Life is targeting to provide the customers with the innovative products and superior levels of services through the physical and digital routes. So remember, all the things will be provided through digital technology, and the customers of the bank can avail a wide range of life insurance products, including solution for the protection, saving, you can say, and investment, especially retirement and critical illness. So one plan will cover all the things which will be provided by HDFC Life. But you can remember about HDFC Life, MD and CEO is Vibha Padalkar, and also remember the headquarter is in Mumbai. But you can also remember about South Indian Bank, its headquarter is important, headquarter is in Kerala. And managing director and CEO is Murli Ramakrishna. Moving to next question. Which bank partnered with National Payment Corporation of India to offer cross-border payments via UPI? Again, very important question, because we are talking about cross-border payments and this tie-up is through UPI. And if we are talking about UPI, then we have to tie up with the National Payment Corporation of India. And this bank is IndusInd Bank. So answer of this question is A. So IndusInd Bank has partnered with the National Payment Corporation of India for offering real-time cross-border remittance to India using UPI or Unified Payment Interface for its money transfer operators partners. So you can see here, IndusInd Bank partners with NPCI to offer cross-border payments via UPI. So with this initiative, IndusInd Bank has become the first Indian bank to go live on the cross-border payments or the NRI remittances. So as a part of the partnership, this money transfer operators or this MTOs will use the IndusInd Bank channel to connect with the NPCI UPI payment system for validation and cross-border payment settlement into the beneficiary account. So just taking example of Thailand, that IndusInd Bank has started off with the Thailand's D-Money for foreign inward remittance through UPI. So customer using you can say D-Money website can easily transfer fund just by adding the beneficiary through the UPI ID. And the bank will add more partners in various other countries for the cross-border payment via UPI in the near future. So just remember, this is IndusInd Bank and National Payment Corporation of India who will do the cross-border payments through the UPI. And you can also remember about IndusInd Bank, its headquarters is in Mumbai, and its tagline is "We make you feel richer." We make you feel richer. And also remember the MD and CEO it is Sumant Katpalia. Moving to next question. IndiePaisa signed an agreement with which payment bank to launch financial technology solution? Again, this is a banking news. Just remember, very important question, and this is one of the static question. Remember, IndiePaisa signed a partnership agreement with NSDL Payment Bank. So answer of this question is B, to launch financial technology solution targeting India's 63 million small and mid-sized enterprise sector, or you can say SME sector. So the main objective is to empower SME owners and operators to provide facilities and services that help them grow business, comply with the government tax laws, and build a sustainable future. And this partnership is in line with India's target of exceeding $1 trillion. Remember, $1 trillion digital transactions annually by the year of 2025. This is the target of Indian government. And you can see here, IndiePaisa partners with NSDL Payment Bank to launch a new financial technological platform targeting India's flourishing 63 million SME sector. And this partnership will offer various convenient payment acceptance options to the merchants at very affordable cost. And it will also enable the settlement of the customer payments into the merchant bank accounts very fast and zero cost to the merchant. So you can just remember two organizations, one is IndiePaisa, second is NSDL Payment Bank, who will tie up so that financial technology solutions can be provided to the payment bank. And remember about IndiePaisa. IndiePaisa's headquarters is in Noida, Uttar Pradesh, and its chairman is Nabil Ben. But this is not important. Next, NSDL Payment Bank is important. Its headquarters is in Mumbai, and its MD and CEO is Abhijit Kamal Pukar. I think this is the spelling, but remember Abhijit. Moving to next question. International Day of Epidemic Preparedness is annually observed across the globe on which day? So this is second time we are celebrating International Day of Epidemic Preparedness, and this is observed every year on 27th of December. So answer of this question is D. So it is United Nations International Day of Epidemic Preparedness, and it is annually observed across the globe on 27th of December, and it is to create awareness about the importance of the prevention of preparedness for and partnership against the epidemics. And remember, 27 December 2021 marks the observance of second International Day of Epidemic Preparedness, first time we celebrated in the year of 2020. So you can see here, International Day of Epidemic Preparedness, 27th of December 2021, and United Nations declared this day due to COVID-19. Moving to next question, which country launched in Inmarsat 6 F1 communication satellite into the geostationary orbit? So it is Inmarsat satellite 6, and its tagline is F1 communication satellite, and they launched into the geostationary orbit. So it is very important question, and remember, this is launched by Japan. So answer of this question is B. So it is launched by Japan, and you can also remember, so it is developed by London-based company Inmarsat as a part of its next generation satellite broadband services. So you can see here, Japan launched huge Inmarsat 6 F1 communication satellite into the orbit. So it is the world's largest and the most sophisticated commercial communication satellite ever launched. That's why this question comes under the very important section. And it is a part of its next generation satellite broadband services, and it is launched by London-based organization which is known as Inmarsat. So that's why it is known as Inmarsat satellite. And it is a communication satellite, and it is to provide the best to best broadband services. And remember, it is launched by Japan. So just remember the name of the satellite. Next question from the picture, this is central government set up a high level committee to examine possibility of lifting AFSPA Act in Nagaland especially, or you can say all the northeastern states can be covered under this committee. So Government of India has decided to constitute a five-member committee to look into the demand for the withdrawal of armed forces Special Powers Act, which is known as AFSPA, from the states in the northeastern region of the country. And the committee would submit its recommendation within 45 days, and who will lead this committee? It is Vivek Joshi, who is the Registrar General and the Census Commissioner of India. And total members are 5 under this committee. Recently, 14 civilians were killed by security forces in firing incident in the Mon district, Nagaland in December 2021, which demanded the withdrawal of AFSPA from the states in the northeastern region. And a court of inquiry will initiate the disciplinary action against the army personnel who were directly involved in the counter-insurgency operation, because 14 civilians were killed by the security forces. That's why there is demand to completely end this AFSPA rule in the northeastern states, especially in the Nagaland. And remember about Nagaland. Nagaland Chief Minister is Neiphiu Rio, and the Governor is Jagdish Mukhi, who is also the permanent Governor of Assam. Moving to next question, India will become third largest economy by which year according to CEBR? Now, what is the meaning of this CEBR? CEBR stands for Center for Economics and Business Research. And according to this Center for Economics and Business Research, India will become the third largest economy by the year of 2031. So answer of this question is C. So you can see here, world economy will top $100 trillion and India will overtake France in 2022. You can see this table. So this is world economy is set to surpass 100 trillion for the first time in 2022, and the annual league table, this is basically the annual league table, or you can say world league table, also predicted that China will overtake the United States of America to be the largest economy in 2030. In 2030, 2 years later than the forecast in 2021. So you can see here, China is on the first spot. In 2031. It means China will become the largest economy in 2030. And the World Economic League Table 2022 shows the economic forecast of 191 countries till 2036. What will be the position of 191 countries by the year of 2036? And you can see here, India will become the third largest economy by the year of 2031, and India will become the 6th largest economy by the year of 2022, 5th largest by the 2026, and 3rd largest by the year of 2036 also. So China will overtake the United States of America by the year of 2031. So you have to remember, this is Center for Economic and Business Report, and it is situated in London. Its headquarters is in London, United Kingdom. Moving to next, it is NASA's James Webb Space Telescope, and it is launched from French Guiana. And this is National Aeronautics and Space Administration James Webb Space Telescope. It is very important, and it is named after James Edwin Webb, one of the architects of the Apollo moon mission. And this James Webb Space Telescope is an infrared telescope launched from the you can say Ariane 5 rocket from the European Space Agency, and it is launched in the South America's northern coast area, French Guiana, and it will be positioned at a spot called Lagrange or Lagrange point 2, which is 1.5 million kilometers from the Earth, or more than 4 times beyond the moon. So this James Webb telescope is NASA's largest and the most powerful space science telescope ever constructed, and its commissioning in space will take 6 months, and this mission span is between 5 to 15 years. And the collected data will help find answers to questions in the 4 areas of the modern astronomy. These 4 areas are, like you can say, first light, where from where it is coming. Next is assembly of galaxies. We can answer this question also. Birth of stars, this can be answered, and planetary system and the origin of life. So this can also be answered through this James Webb telescope. But you have to remember, it will study infrared light also from the celestial objects with much greater clarity. And the telescope will seek the unobserved formation of the first galaxies, look inside dust clouds and where stars and planetary system are forming today, explore the solar system and planets orbiting other stars called exoplanets, and along with the Jupiter's moon, especially Europa. But you have to remember, the first light, assembly of galaxies, birth of stars and planetary system and the origin of life can be answered through this James Webb telescope. So this is launched by NASA. But you have to remember one more important thing under this question, that this telescope is an international collaboration which is led by NASA, but it is not only NASA that who launched this James Webb Space Telescope. It is launched by 2 other agencies also, because NASA's partnership with European Space Agency as well as Canada Space Agency. So 2 more agencies are there who launched and who collaborated with NASA to launch this James Webb Space Telescope. And there is a huge cost to launch this and to develop this telescope, because Webb was developed at a cost of $8.8 billion. This is very huge, $8.8 billion. And with its operational expenses, it projected that its total cost is like $10 billion, almost $10 billion. So this is huge. But remember, it is James Webb Space Telescope. It is launched by NASA with the collaboration of European Space Agency and the Canada Space Agency, and it is launched from the South America's, you can say, northern coast area, which is French Guiana. Moving to next section, it is our important question section. But first of all, you have to like this video, you have to share this video, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform, and join our Telegram group from the description box link. Only one question is there, and it is from picture, Dr. V.L. Dutt, Glimpse of the Pioneer Life Journey, and this is written by Dr. V.L. Indra Dutt. So just remember this question from the you can say slide, because it is not so much important book, but you have to remember this book is basically released by Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu ji, and this book named is Dr. V.L. Dutt, Glimpse of the Pioneer's Life Journey. So by default, this book tells us about the life of Dr. V.L. Dutt, who was the former chairman of KCP Group, which is very famous group in the Chennai, Tamil Nadu. And he was an industrialist, philanthropist and visionary in the area of the Tamil Nadu. So just remember Dr. V.L. Dutt. Moving to one-liner important point, here is the first point. Nobel Peace Prize winner Desmond Tutu dies at the age of 90. We already covered this question, and he belongs to South Africa. Next, China launched new camera satellite. This is Yuan-1 O2E to find resources. Again, we already covered this question. Next is former president of Greece, that is Karolos Papoulias, passed away at the age of 92. So just remember the name. This is Karolos Papoulias, and he was the former president of Greece, and he served the president during the financial crisis of Greece started in the year of 2010, which led a huge shift in the debt to GDP ratio of the country. And he served as the president of Greece for 2 terms, like from 2005 to 2010 and from 2010 to 2015. Next, Managing Director and CEO of RBL Bank, Rajiv Ahuja takes over, because earlier it was Vishavir Ahuja, but due to medical reason, he stepped down. Vishavir Ahuja was former MD and CEO, but now it is Rajiv Ahuja. Next, DRDO selected Paras Defense for handling over technology of border surveillance system. Again, this is not important because there are so many organizations which were selected by DRDO, and one of them is Paras Defense and Space Technology. And this is the company for handling over technology of border surveillance system and developed by Instrument Research and Development Establishment and the DRDO. And Paras Defense is involved in designing, developing, manufacturing and testing of a wide range of defense and space engineering products and the solution. And especially you have to remember about DRDO, it was established in 1958. Its chairman is G. Satish Reddy. Its headquarters is in New Delhi. Next, International Day of Epidemic Preparedness observed on 27th of December. We already covered this question, that this is the second time that we are celebrating this United Nations International Day of Epidemic Preparedness on 27th of December. Now we are moving to the question of the day. What is the question of 26th and 27th of December? The merchant banking activities in India are governed by which of the following bodies? Again, this is very important question for the banking students, because remember, merchant banking comprises a wide set of banking activities which involves issues management by trading securities, you can say, underwriting securities issuance like IPO, undertaking valuation of businesses, and setting up and packaging, you can say, management and other asset deals. So as per the RBI's master circular on the para banking activities, banks are allowed to undertake merchant banking activities through a separate subsidiary, which would be required to comply with the SEBI's regulation. So answer of this question is A. So in simple word, you can say that Securities and Exchange Board of India is the regulatory authority for the merchant banking in India, and activities of merchant banks are regulated by SEBI's under the SEBI's Regulation Act of 1992. And who is the head of SEBI? SEBI's head is Ajay Tyagi. Moving to next question, it is the question of the day. NABARD came into existence. So every student, I think, know who is preparing for banking that NABARD was established in 1982. But we are talking about exact date. So you have to tell me only in the comment box. I am waiting your answer. Please like this video. Please share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. And join our Telegram group and press this bell button so that you can receive the notification on time. And it is a Affairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section, definitely. Don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy, like this smiley. Thank you guys. Take care and bye-bye.